Good morning. You're joining me and E. We are going on a very special walk today. This walk is going to last us one whole year. What we want to do is take you on our walk to school. Because when we walk to school, we see some pretty awesome stuff, don't we, E? And what I want to show you by walking to school is how long it takes to walk to school, which is probably only about 10-15 minutes, which is the same time it would probably take to drive. But then you think the added extras of parking and traffic and blah, 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 it makes you wonder, why on earth am I driving? Why don't we just walk to school and also have a bit of an adventure on the way and see some incredible things that inspire us, good for our fitness as well. Our little walk is going to take about a mile or so. And so I just want to show you the benefits of why it's really cool to walk to school. And you're going to walk to school with us for 1 year. You're going to see all the brilliant best bits of our walk to school. So here we are. It's midwinter, late December, and this is what it's like. So come with us through our walking to school year and see all the really, really cool stuff that we see on the way. Right, let's begin. E, what have you found?
Molehills.
Hey, look at them. We always get tons of molehills, don't we, this time of year? And of course, a molehill is very much where a mole has burrowed from there to there, to there, to there, to there. So each one of them is showing you the soil that the mole has dug out. And in fact, look, have you found his burrow?
No.
His burrow's down there. Hang on, let's have a look. Dig down. Oh, there he is, there he is. Look, there is the mole's burrow. So the mole has gone from there to there, and all the soil's been pushed up into this hill. And there you go, molehills. And there's always tons around this time of year. Well done, E. Another cool thing we find this time of year. What is it, E?
Ice.
Do it. Haha, awesome. Oh, smashing ice is the best. Well done, E. There's another very, very good reason to walk, is to have beautiful moments like this on a gorgeous frosty day. Wow, life doesn't get any better than this. E, what have we found over here?
Kill.
What is it?
Kill.
A kill, no way, a kill. Look, crumbs on it already. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness, look at the evidence there, look. The kill's happened. Probably a goshawk, sparrowhawk,
That's fox.
or a fox, absolutely. Let's look. Look at the base of the feathers. A fox generally chews off the base of the feathers. If I focus on it there, look, totally blunt, look, that's a fox kill. E, what do you think you found?
I think it might be either a fox or a badger
Oh,
hole.
it looks like a badger hole to me, doesn't it? It looks like it's active as well. Look, you can see all the soil around it is disturbed. You see in the distance all of those seagulls. Well, they follow the tractors and the ploughs because this time of year there's so little food for them around that they have to grub around and take anything. So they're desperately taking wiggly worms and anything that the plough exposes on the surface. So this time of year there's always tons and tons of gulls on the fields. Sometimes we see buzzards as well walking about, also doing the same. And as if by magic, there she is. Oh my goodness, look, that is a buzzard, a beautiful bird of prey that's really, really adaptable. And she's been feeding on the fields as well, feeding on the worms and the grubs. This is very cool, look at this. So I put the camera down like that, look at that. Perfect hole straight under the hedge. That is a badger run, where he runs underneath the barbed wire fence. Also found this hole, what do you think it is, E?
A badger.
Definitely a badger. A badger's been digging around down there, using his claws to scrape, 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 probably dig out worms, tubers and things, because they get pretty desperate this time of year because they're so hungry. But the sun is shining and already all the plants in the margins are starting to grow. So this gorgeous, gorgeous new green growth is happening along the edge of the river like this. You wait, in a couple of months' time you'll barely be able to see the river because all the foliage would have grown up, and that's when the animals really start coming alive. The race is absolutely on this time of year. As soon as the ground starts to warm and the sun starts to come out, all the plants are zooming upwards. These guys, look, this is arum in the middle, and I'm absolutely surrounded by these guys, which are really familiar. These are the sticky buds, which we have great fun with in the playground. But these guys, look at them, absolutely storming upwards at the minute, trying to dominate the landscape, trying to get as many leaves out as possible so that they can maximise their growth in the sunshine before all the other plants do. Look at them. Something else that's taking advantage of this time of year are these yellow, almost giant bogey-like things that grow all over the branches are called lichens. Lichens, like the plants below them, are taking advantage of the fact that this hedge at the moment has got no leaves on it whatsoever. So this is their time to bloom. These are a combination of plants and algae that live together. And this time of year, because the light is coming up and the leaves haven't grown on the bushes yet, this is their time to photosynthesize, produce loads of energy and send out their spores as well. So in a month or two's time, all these leaves would have grown back and these lichens will no longer be visible. But right now, this is their time to bloom. And another beautiful sign that spring is coming is, of course, all of these hedges bursting into this stunning, stunning blossom. Oh my goodness, if you stand downwind as well, it smells absolutely gorgeous. And of course, this time of year, you've got the gorgeous chorus of the springtime birds calling. This is a blue tit. And there's another really wonderful reason to walk to school, and it's to see moments like this. This is a beautiful, beautiful hedge sparrow, and he's singing his heart out this time of year in the spring. If we'd driven, then we never ever would have seen or heard something as gorgeous as this. This means the coming of the spring. This is something really cool I've just noticed. Look at this little chap here. You see him down there? There you go. Typical normal ladybird, but look, there's one there. There's one down there. I've noticed as I walk along this hedgerow this morning, on this gorgeous March morning, there are ladybirds everywhere. And there's another one. And there's another one. And there's another one. Oh my goodness, there's ladybirds everywhere. I love them, they're so cute. Such a familiar looking little chap. But these guys, they're actually carnivores. They do a really, really good job in the garden because they feed on aphids, which of course are a real pain for gardeners and farmers. So these guys, they eat all the aphids. So the more we can encourage ladybirds, the better. It's about 8:30 in the morning. The sun is hitting these leaves, and these little guys are all emerging from where they've been sleeping overnight. Bearing in mind it's really, really cold this time of year at night still. So these guys have been all tucked away, but this time of day they're all emerging and they're coming out to bask, just like reptiles do. Once these guys are all warmed up, then they'll fly off and they'll start hunting around for food, and then of course they'll be looking for each other as well to mate. This really is a blooming time of year. Oh, look at these. These are nobody's friend. Look at these. These are swathes and swathes of stinging nettles starting to grow, which of course we humans absolutely hate. But believe it or not, they're actually really, really good for insects, particularly butterflies. There's an awful lot of really beautiful butterflies that their larvae, their caterpillars, need these stingers in order to feed. So things like small tortoise shells, red admirals and peacocks, they all feed on these rather horrible stinging nettles. So as much as they're awful for us and they sting us, they're actually really, really good. So when you see a patch of stinging nettles, don't always go, oh my goodness, look, it's stinging nettles, get away from them. If you look really closely, and I'm hoping that later in the year I'll be able to show you, you look really, really closely, you might find they're absolutely teeming with teeny caterpillars, which of course one day will grow up and they'll pupate and they'll become some of the stunning butterflies that we love here in England. It's one of the wonderful, wonderful things about walking to school is the fact that you come across sites like this. I know this looks just like a river, but when you look in detail, look really closely, you can see it's teeming with foliage. There's all this new vegetation growing. And of course, if you've got vegetation, you've got life. You've got invertebrates down there, you've got all manner of fish swimming around. Later in the year, I'm going to take you into this river. But this is just one of the marvellous things about walking to school. Rather than just being in a car and seeing everything so fleeting, by walking along to school, look, we come across this gorgeous, gorgeous stream. And it's just utterly inspiring to me to know that down there, there's incredible life, which we can dive down into later in the year when it's warmer and go and see what lies below the surface. E, guess what? Some of your favourites are growing now. What are they?
Monster arms.
Monster arms. They're really cool, aren't they? They look just like tentacles. They're actually wild clematis growing up through the hedge, but I think I prefer E's name of monster arms. Aren't they brilliant? Another beautiful sign of spring is this. Look, this queen bumblebee looking for burrows and holes that she can lay her eggs in. Look, if I keep really still, she might come over towards me. And what the queen bees do is that they're desperately going around searching for new places to nest. There she is, look down there, look. Zooming around, looking for nooks and crannies where she can lay her eggs. And eventually she'll find a little tiny hole, she'll go inside and she'll lay her first brood of eggs, and they'll hatch out into her first band of workers and they'll help her, and then gradually build themselves up into a colony. As the glorious spring develops, you can see our hedgerows now are absolutely teeming with this beautiful, beautiful cow parsley. See all these lovely white flowers? And here's my little E surrounded by these beautiful, beautiful purple flowers, which are absolutely gorgeous. They grow along the riverbank just like this. And E, what eats these beautiful purple flowers?
Scarlet tiger caterpillars.
Scarlet tiger caterpillars. We'll be seeing them soon. They feed on these beautiful, beautiful pink flowers that are called comfrey. So E, come on, let's carry on. We'll see if we can find some scarlet tigers, shall we? As we've just turned this corner, I've just seen this. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at those. Absolutely beautiful. These are called mare's tails or horse tails. These are an ancient plant from the time of the dinosaurs. Imagine that. You can imagine millions of years ago, Brontosaurus and Stegosaurus walking through fields just like this, feeding upon these amazing horsetails. And here I am walking to school with my gorgeous family, and we've come across something just like this. No way, that is so beautiful. They look like they're covered in jewels, don't they? Aren't they stunning? Oh man, I love moments like this. This is why we walk to school. We've just come across something utterly, utterly beautiful. Look at this. Beautifully lit in the morning light, like all covered in dew. Can you see that? It looks like a hammock. That hammock is the web of the comb-footed spider, or therid spider, and they make this beautiful, beautiful web like this. She's actually dangling underneath it somewhere. You might be able to see it, I can't see it. But she'll be dangling underneath there in the middle, waiting for some flies to land on top of it, and then bam, she nails it through the web. You can just about see on top, there's lots and lots of little cross threads all in the grass that you can see them all backlit, hopefully. All these little cross threads. So the flies are bumbling along through the grass, and then they hit one, like hitting a piece of scaffold, and they fall on top of that, bang! And then the spider is waiting underneath to nail it. Isn't that beautiful? Good luck to you, my sweet. This time of year, the grass is really, really growing long. And look, here we found a feed trough. And often, under a feed trough, in amongst all this grass, there might be one of our favourite little animals. Ready to eat? Let's have a look. Anyone here today? Oh look, a little vole. See the little vole? There he is, scurrying around in the middle. We saw a little vole! Yay. Lovely, that's all this lovely grass on either side. They love running around in and feeding on, and they make those beautiful, beautiful nests. Look, there he is at the end, look, scurrying around at the end. Oh, lovely. So there is a beautiful, beautiful little nest made out of dried grass, and it's all been made from all of this surrounding grass here. And there's another gorgeous little nest at the end there. Look, can you see in the middle? A beautiful little nest ball. That is a nest made by the vole. Excellent. We've got just ahead of us, if I zoom in, we can zoom in, we've got a pair of magpies. Oh, flipping it, they've flown away. As you just saw, they flew away. They've got really, really good reason to fly away as well, because whenever you see a magpie hanging around, he's not hanging around just by seeing, you know, what's going on and just chilling. He's not, especially this time of year with all of these hedges. These magpies are here because they're stealing stuff. Particularly, they're going in the hedges and they're looking for birds' nests, and they're feeding on their eggs and on their babies. So this time of year, it's the early summer, it's the end of May, early June. These magpies are hanging around these hedges looking to steal birds' eggs, so I'm not surprised they scarpered like they did. They really are thieves hanging around looking to be up to no good. So keep your eyes peeled, there's thieves about. One of the tiniest birds in Britain, but they've got the loudest voice. That's the wren, isn't he beautiful? Oh wow. Go on, little man, you sing. That's awesome. I've always wanted to see one singing. And despite these guys being really, really tiny, they're unbelievably brave and bold. And off he goes. Excellent. One of the really cool things about this time of year is this. Look, how familiar is this? This is cuckoo spit. There's loads of it. Look, there's a little bit here. There's a little bit over here. Just see it here. Get it all over little tiny plants, just like this. And it's called cuckoo spit because, of course, it looks just like spit. But if I very carefully just get my fingers in it and slide it apart, I'm going to show you something cool. Here we go. Right. If I get him out on my finger here, look. See this little tiny chap? That is what creates cuckoo spit. That is called a frog hopper, or a frog hopper larvae. And they create the cuckoo spit to protect them. So it's like a big foam nest, a big foam web all around them to protect them. And then eventually this little tiny chap, who's completely harmless, he'll mature into a beautiful, beautiful frog hopper, which is a type of bug. And they feed upon grass stems, they feed on the sap in plants, and eventually he'll just hop away. But how cool is that? So there you go, when you see cuckoo spit, there you go, I'll pop him back. There you go, little chap, I'll go back in your cuckoo, look, bam, straight back into his cuckoo spit. There he goes. He'll make a load more of this froth now. And so come tomorrow, there'll be another big blob of cuckoo spit, and he'll be sitting in the middle of it, all nice and protected. How cool is he? He's so cute. So we're hunting along the bank, keeping our eyes peeled, aren't we? Can you see anything, my hun? Do you see anything? What can you see, hun? Where's the scarlet tiger?
On the branch.
Oh, no way. Beautiful. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? God, no way. What a oh, crumbs. He just flitted down there. Isn't he lovely? Look at his colour of his underside of his wings. Isn't he beautiful? Look at those amazing flash colours, because that's it. He sits all camouflaged, doesn't he? All black and white. And then as soon as he gets upset by big old Rob coming along and poking him with his finger, displays his bright red. Isn't that a beautiful moth? Let's try and see if we can lift him out. Come on, my sweet. It's getting deeper and deeper. Oh man, look at that beautiful moth. Oh, and he's gone. That tiny little chap there It's actually a ladybird larvae, isn't it? These guys are unbelievably carnivorous. They feed on aphids. So wherever you see aphids, don't you worry, there's bound to be one of these little chaps around. If I get him on my hand, come here, little chapper. Let's have a look at you. There we are. Get him on the palm of my hand so you can see him. Look at him. Isn't he lovely? Eerie. Isn't he gorgeous? Look at that.
Yeah.
Big old orange and black abdomen. 3 pairs of legs up front. Definitely an insect. Isn't he beautiful? Right, let's pop him back so we can carry on scoffing these aphids on these flower tips. Do you remember what I said earlier in the year about stinging nettles? Hundreds and hundreds of stinging nettles, and this is what loves stinging nettles. Look at these chaps. It's a big old blob of cuckoo spit in the middle of it, but look, see these little tiny chaps here? You see me?
Yeah.
On the top, I put my finger in there for scale. Look, these little tiny caterpillars. They're caterpillars of tortoiseshell butterflies, or red admirals, or may even be peacocks. Collectively, they're called the nymphalid butterflies. But look, they absolutely love nettles. Look, hundreds of them. Dangling around, nibble, nibble, nibbling. What is it, hun?
Look, they're doing what we did in one of our earlier videos. They're
What's that,
making all that webbing stuff.
They are, they're silking themselves up, because right now they're really, really dinky. Look, you can see how tiny they are. Put my fingers in there, look, they're tiny at the moment. But yeah, they, like spiders, they use silk for defence, don't they? So, really cool, well
That's
done.
a weird
It's a really
ladybird.
good day today. And where's, oh yeah,
It has no spots.
look at that, that is a weird
No
ladybird.
spotted ladybird.
That's the thing about ladybirds, this is probably a 7-spot ladybird. There's a lot of variation in them, as well as being red ones with black spots. There's also these like uniform orange ones, there's also red ones, also black ones with red spots. What have you got now, hun? Oh wow, what have you found now?
Oh, they've struck here.
Really, really?
They've demolished.
Let's have a look.
They're
Oh
really
no way,
big.
look at those. They really have used their webbing as well, haven't they? These look like peacock butterflies. So they're really, really black. But like you say, they've used all their silk to cover up this area. They use it as protection. God, look, they're absolutely teeming. And just think, once they're mature, they'll pupate, and then hopefully later in the summer or early autumn, we will see another fleet of gorgeous butterflies flying around, all laying their eggs. Aren't they beautiful? Hooray, yes, look, the scarlet tigers are coming. Number 1. Number 2. Where's that third one? Oh, there's the third one there. Look, hiding behind some grass. Beautiful. Hooray, it's scarlet season. In Africa, they have lions and wildebeest and zebra. But here in Blighty, we've got something slightly smaller, but nevertheless just as dramatic. See all these guys here? If I go right in on the middle, there we go, that guy there in the middle with the orange spots. There's another one there on the side. There's another one there over there. These are ladybird larvae. And these are mega carnivores of aphids. There's another one there in the middle, more or less, looking towards us. This head here is absolutely covered in them. And you can see all those little white dots, those little white flecks. They're actually the shed skins of aphids. In fact, you can see the aphids all over the stems. That's the aphids. These guys here, these ladybird larvae, they absolutely scoff them. So this head, this great big piece of hemlock, great big flower, is a battleground between these aphids, who are trying to suck up the sap out of the plant, and these lions of the British plain. So they're just hanging around here, absolutely stuffing their faces, and all of these aphids. So who will win? The ladybirds or the aphids? We shall see. One thing I do know is it's a really warm, humid year, and these ladybird larvae, of which you normally only see 1 or 2, they are absolutely teeming. I'm seeing dozens and dozens of them every day. And look, they're absolutely stuffing their faces here, but they're really, really sharp jaws. But they are awesome and utterly cannibalistic. What amazing beasties. And look, they're right here in a British hedgerow. This is one of the gorgeous, gorgeous sounds that we hear as we walk to school midsummer. Listen to this. That is the sound of the grasshoppers calling. Isn't it beautiful? This time of year, the adult grasshoppers are mature, and what you're hearing is the sounds of the males calling to the females so they can mate. What a lovely sound. Smack bang in the middle of this picture is one of my favourite butterflies. Look, the camouflage on this thing's incredible. If I go really, really slowly, it looks like a torn up, bashed up leaf. This is the comma butterfly. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm trying to whisper because I don't want to disturb it. But the camouflage on these things is phenomenal. Look, she's vibrating. She's going to take off soon. But look, the edge of those wings, look all torn up and bashed up. That's totally on purpose. Absolutely deliberate. She hasn't been in any accident or anything like that. That is what their wings are designed to look like. So they look like an old bashed up leaf. Wow, look at this beautiful comma. Oh my goodness, that's got his wings wide open. And that is what it's all about. To go from that really camouflaged, ragged edge butterfly blending in to this absolute garish beauty. Wow. Even in the pouring rain, we will walk to school because it's character building, isn't it? Are we having a lovely time?
No.
No. At this time of year, the hedges are absolutely teeming with these gorgeous delights, which of course are blackberries. And not only do they provide us hungry people with gorgeous fruit for us to nibble on the way, but also it provides really, really necessary sustenance for the birds that are coming through, because of course the birds this time of year are starting to build up their fat reserves. So they'll be gorging themselves on these blackberries. There's also another thing I've noticed in the hedge just over here is these beautiful blue fruit are called sloes, and they grow on the blackthorn bush. Now these look really appetising. I've always thought they look like little tiny plums, and if I put my hand next to them you can see, look, they really are quite dinky, about the size of a grape. In fact, they look like black grapes, don't they? But the thing is about sloes is, if you try them, they're not poisonous or anything like that, but they are unbelievably bitter. So yeah, be warned, if you see sloes in the hedge, don't get them, because your mouth will shrivel up like you wouldn't believe, and it's really not a very pleasant experience. But of course, people then bottle them and they make them into sloe gin and sloe wine, so they do have a use. But again, this is something that we're starting to see this time of year, when we're just starting to go into autumn, and all of a sudden the hedges are full of all these beautiful colours. This is one of the sadder things that we see on the way to school. Look at this. It's a bird kill, which we quite often see, but in this case, look, you can see the beautiful, beautiful golden-edged feathers. This is the kill of a goldfinch. And because we are between two hedges here, we're on this little tiny path, I suspect this goldfinch has been killed by a sparrowhawk. So the sparrowhawk would have flushed the finches from inside of the hedge and then pounced on them in ambush, pinned it to the ground and then eaten it. When you see berries like that, and you hear the sound of the robin calling, you know, like they say in Game of Thrones, that winter is coming. Even on grey, horrible, rainy days when no one wants to walk to school, by walking to school, we come across wonderful things like this. A bit of old field, which normally is dull as you like, today is an ocean. It's absolutely flooded. We've got a little river flowing into it here from the rainwater, and as long as you've got your wellies on, you can have a brilliant time in this brilliant ocean. But another thing that we've done is just over here, because the water is overflowing off the field down into the river, and we've made this beautiful little river channel. Look at that. In 5 minutes we've made our own waterfall, which is now pouring down into the river. All that from a grey, horrible, rainy day, which no one would ever in their right mind want to walk on, but we do. It's been absolutely pouring with rain, and as a result all the farmers' fields are completely flooded. But what we know is, when we walk across these farmers' fields, we are in for a seasonal treat. Ethan really loves them. He's already leading the charge, because down here on the mud is a really, really cool invert, and I'm going to show you some now. Aha, there's one. That is called a blue worm. They live down in the soil, of course, like other worms do, but when it gets really wet, they all come up to the surface, and they're all this really peculiar sort of purpley blue colour. They're lovely, aren't they? Oh, there's another one. Oh, there they are. Yeah, they always come up when it's wet. Quite a big worm too. Look, there's my hand for scale. But they're always this lovely blue colour. You only see them when it's really, really wet like this. Aren't they lovely? When we've walked to school before and it's been wet and rainy like this and the ground is flooded, we actually have a competition to see how many blue worms we can find. And last year, just in the space of walking to school in about 10 minutes, we saw 300. There are so many of these guys around, and normally they'd be buried down in the soil, but on these wet days we see them and we have this great competition on the way to school. Now this is why we do this. This is why we walk to school. It's for moments like this. You've got the gorgeous backlight of the winter sun, the steam rising off the river, and my gorgeous, gorgeous boy and my beautiful wife and our beautiful dog just walking to school. This is why we walk to school. It's to get moments like this. Moments to inspire, moments to see absolute beauty like so many artists in the past have seen and captured in their paintings. And we get it just on an average day walking to school. And so, my lovelies, our journey is finally at an end. We're nearly at school. It's just over here. I'm so pleased that you've come with us on our year's journey, our year's walk to school. And I'm so grateful that you could have come along with us and experienced our life through this year. I'm hoping you've been as inspired and found some amazing enthusiasm from all the wonderful things that we've totally found spontaneously just by walking to school. Such a simple thing to do, but it means so much, and it can make so much difference to your mind, to your legs, to everything about your lives. And I'm so pleased you've been along with us. I hope you've taken away as much fun, as much inspiration as we've got from you guys being here with us. But now it's time to say goodbye. Please, in the future, even if it's just the once, try walking to school. It can give you so much. Honestly, you've just got to try these things. And I look forward to seeing you again on Rob's Wild Adventures. Right, here we are at school. Cheers, guys.